Hello and welcome to another edition of the Horror Debate. I'm Michael Mandy, and he's Rowdy Jeff.
This week's debate, Zombie 2 from 1979, directed by Lucio Fulci. Fulci!
Now, just to let y'all know, here in America, this movie was released as Zombie. But over in Italy and in Europe, the Romero film Dawn of the Dead was released as Zombie. So this was called Zombie 2 over in Europe, but over here in America, it was called Zombie. Are you confused now?
It could have been called Zombie whatever. It wouldn't have made no difference, Mike. Okay, now...
All right, what's the basic plot, Jeff? What are we talking about
here? I don't
here?
know, because I think I slept through like the first hour and 20 minutes, right?
It does take a while to get going, doesn't it?
The last 10 minutes were pretty good. Mm-hmm. You know, it wasn't enough to save it. You know, from the wrath of the Rowdy one, it wasn't enough to save it.
I kind of like the beginning scenes. It takes place in the waters off of Staten Island, and there's Statue of Liberty and the cops on the abandoned boat.
Yeah, I mean, okay.
That was, all right.
I like to have a little bit of grounded reality in my horror, okay? Because it makes it seem like, this could actually go down, okay? Now, you're right. When it first started off, I'm like, okay, it's a real setting. We're at a real landmark. We got a real airport going here, and I'm like, okay, now I can see how this could turn into something, right? Well, it took a lot longer to sprout than what I was wanting, but like I said, you can't bore the audience for an hour and 20 minutes and try to make up for it in the last 10 minutes with some cool flesh ripping and some blood dripping. You can't do it, Mike. It lost me. And let me tell you what else lost me.
What else lost
you? Terrible.
In the middle, they did have a couple good gore scenes to keep
not
stringing
enough.
You along.
It's like promising somebody a cake and occasionally giving them a little tiny piece of brownie. It was terrible. Let me just say this: the dialogue in this movie was to die for, and
oh no,
I say that in the way that you think I meant, which was it was horrible. I mean, the dialogue just lost me, Mike. No interest in it at all. It could have been a silent film.
Well, most Italian films were pretty much silent films, filmed silent without the sound, and then they dubbed in the words later.
Yeah, but you have to have something to grab me, Mike, or something to grab the audience into wanting to see what happens to get attached to these characters.
What about the doctor's psycho wife? She was screaming and insulting him left and right.
She was actually pretty cool. She was a pretty girl, but she knew how to make her face look completely wicked.
What about those eyes? Those piercing green eyes.
She had gorgeous eyes.
Fulci, when he cast her, he said, "Oh, I gotta mess with those eyes."
Yeah, and boy, did he mess with one of them, huh? But we won't go into that because we don't want to spoil it for you in case you decide to bore yourself for an hour and 20 minutes. But
we'll just let you know about an hour into the film, there's something worth watching.
Kind of cool. Okay, so zombie films. I like good zombie films. I like zombie films that actually, move.
Such as?
Well,
give me a good zombie film, because every zombie film we've watched you've hated.
The closest we have probably gotten, and actually, we haven't even debated them yet, but some of my favorite zombie films right now are the Resident Evil ones. Okay, and we have not really gone into that. It's not because it's based on a video game that I liked. I thought that the plot moved, Mike. That's the whole thing.
So you're saying the best zombie film out there is Resident Evil?
I'm not necessarily the best for everybody, but I'm saying the one that keeps my attention, the one that I can sit there and turn it on, and within 2 to 3 minutes, I got plot going on. I got a gorgeous main character
who's pretty much naked throughout the film.
I got a plot that I can follow. I got good visual effects. I have decent enough acting to get through it. It's not a Pulitzer Prize winning deal, Mike, or an Oscar award winning deal, but it's good enough. I'm a fan of those movies. I haven't seen the third one yet, which I'm really looking forward to seeing. But the problem with these movies, and I think it's all the perspective that you look at it as, or from, I should say. This film was made in '79. Okay, and of course things are going to look different. People are going to act different. It's all about the social, end of it, But I got to say, in 2007, Mike, this film blows. It just absolutely blows. Like I said, if they would have hooked you with something, You know, I mean, we had the child of Tom Selleck and Saddam Hussein as the doctor. He looked just like he was a perfect cross between Tom Selleck and Saddam Hussein. Tell me I'm lying.
Richard Johnson.
No, tell me I'm lying. Did
he definitely had the Saddam Hussein thing.
Oh
going, yeah.
my goodness, Mike. I mean, that was the first thing I noticed. But and you know, if I'm looking for stuff like that, I'm bored.
Yeah.
You know that if I'm looking for goofiness like that, I'm bored. And I'm just trying to be honest. I mean, I don't think that most horror fans, especially ones like today, I mean, if they went back and watched this, they'd barf all over it, Mike.
Yeah, like I said, it does take a while to get going. It's got some slow parts in it. It's got good gore in it, though.
I will say this: the first kill that we saw, the blood was edging onto that orange
Frank's hot
that we
sauce.
were. Yeah, and I had to make the Frank's hot sauce comment.
Yeah.
Don't give me buffalo sauce for blood, okay? But as the movie went on, it seemed like the blood kind of went back to the red.
Darker.
Yeah, which was okay. There was some great flesh ripping in this thing.
Yeah.
Okay, there was some good little things.
Special effects were good in this.
Absolutely. And the zombies coming up out of the ground, let me just say this. Why were they creaking?
I think it was just sound effects.
I mean, I just couldn't get that. My wife mentioned the same thing. We were watching the film, like, why are they creaking?
Something is ripping or creaking. Maybe it's because their bones have solidified.
That's what I was thinking.
And atrophied, and now they're re-breaking them so they can walk.
I was lost on a few of the points of this movie.
How did you like the look of the zombies? They weren't the blue zombies like in the Romero film.
No, they weren't. And actually,
these were mud.
I thought that the dude that rose up first, okay, the first guy, I think he's on the cover of the DVD,
the dude who's
right?
on the cover.
He was kind of cool. Okay, he had that look. And actually, the one that got his head blown off towards the end, they didn't show enough of him because he had the crazy eyes going on. And I love the crazy eyes thing, you know. But beyond that, I'd say they were above average, but I don't know, Mike. Not enough to get me excited about the project.
Most of the extras, you could tell which ones they spent a lot of time on, like the guy who's on the cover. And
right.
then a lot of them in the end scene where they're in the burning down building, you could tell they just slapped a ton of mud on them and said, "Here."
And I loved the one that had the crooked eye.
Yeah,
the first thing that I said was slap that crooked eye straight. Yeah. I mean, it was bad, you know. But okay, I mean, yeah, it has its points. But what I'm trying to tell you is, like I think I mentioned this towards the end of the film, you could have the most spectacular ending ever put on film. But if you have bored me for the first hour and 20 minutes, you're still getting a bad score, okay? I mean, I can't tell people, I can't recommend you to go see this film or to go rent this film because I know you're going to be going, "Oh, Rowdy, man, what are you talking about?" You know? And then yeah, the last 10 minutes you'll go, "Oh, okay, I kind of feel
I know
you."
another thing we forgot. What's the plot of this film? What happens?
Mike, you have to tell the plot because if I tell the plot, it's going to sound so condescending, you know?
Okay, basically a derelict ship enters New York Harbor, cops board, and there's a zombie on board, and he falls off into the water. And this lady, it's her dad's boat, and so she and this reporter find out that the boat came from this weird little island out in the South Pacific or Caribbean somewhere. So they rent a boat, and so the four of them go to this zombie island, and there's a doctor on the boat, on the island. And basically all the townspeople are turning into zombies, and so they find their boat wrecked, and a bunch of zombies are after them. I thought it was a pretty cool plot. I mean, you're trapped on an island. A lot of good location filming.
But here's the weakness of the film, though. Okay, this is the weakness of the film was that there wasn't enough believable story. There just wasn't enough there. I could not suspend my disbelief and get into this and say, you know, this could actually happen. You know, and that's what scares me as a horror
zombie film. Zombies don't really happen.
Well, but some of the zombie films have a plausible enough thing where I could suspend disbelief and say, okay, you know, I can see how this in some twisted way could go down. This one was just a little too stage left for me. It didn't make me want to go, oh, I could be afraid of that if I was in that position. It just didn't do that for me.
There was no sense of urgency.
No.
Even at the end, and we like the end.
If there was an urgency, it wouldn't have lasted an hour and a half. You know what I mean? It just, I don't know, Mike. Yeah. I can't get into it. I almost feel bad giving this kind of a low score because it did have points to it, as we said,
Right.
you know. And I don't want to completely trash it and say it's worthless, but it's a 1-star film as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, it takes a while to get going. If you're a fan of like the new remake of Dawn of the Dead or 28 Days Later, you're gonna hate this movie.
See, that's my point, Mike. 28 Days Later.
There was a sense of urgency.
28 Days Later, my overall complete, if you want to know the honest truth, my overall complete favorite, you know what I mean, as a complete zombie film.
Or the remake of Dawn of the Dead with the fast zombies.
And that's really good too.
you know.
But, okay. If you're going to do this, 28 Days Later had it down pat. The way you suck somebody in to a believable, plausible plot, okay, that was perfect, you know, and you felt it throughout the film. You felt that dread. You felt that foreboding, okay, with these zombies. Yeah. You didn't get that in this film.
I think
that's my point.
One of the problems with this film was the soundtrack was the most, what was that, an oboe? Just I
wasn't even going to go into the soundtrack,
and then they slow
Mike.
Zombies walking.
I wasn't even going to go into the soundtrack.
There were things.
Soundtrack?
Yeah, there were things I liked about this film, but there were things that I didn't like about the film. I didn't like the slow pacing, the slow music, the slow. But I did like the location shooting. I even liked the zombie underwater. The underwater shots were cool. He attacks a shark, man.
That was an interesting thing, and I didn't know how to feel about that. I really did. I didn't know how to have an opinion
People were
about
going
that.
nuts over Romero and Land of the Dead. The zombies
It
underwater.
looked like a video game.
Yeah, this shark and this zombie walking around. He grabs a shark and takes a chunk out of him. I thought that was interesting.
The shark bit his arm off.
Yeah.
He was bleeding green underwater, and then the shark just decided, oh, man, I don't like green. I don't like lemon lime, dude. I'm out of here.
I don't like this dead stuff now.
I don't know.
But the guy took a chunk out of the shark before it left.
Sushi.
Yeah, so
that's what I said. Sushi.
I give it a star just for showing me something I've never seen before.
No, you're giving it a star because the chick who went scuba diving in the same scene was topless and basically didn't have much on. Period.
Yeah, I know.
Right, and just a thong.
A dollar bill covers more, man.
Oh, man. You know what? She had it going on.
The doctor's wife was much more attractive.
The doctor's wife was pretty hot.
Yeah,
she was really pretty.
There's a couple good gore scenes in this.
Yep.
Obviously, the makeup department gets props for that.
Oh, yeah. No doubt about it.
Yeah.
I mean, but you, like I said, Mike, it could be the most spectacular looking thing. Yeah. It didn't flow well. Didn't make me I certainly don't want to rewatch it. You know, I have no desire to go back and review this film.
This is not the kind of film you want to watch with a crowd. This is something at 2 a.m.
Here would be the crowd. Here would be the crowd at 2 o'clock in the morning in the theater.
Yeah, come on, hurry it up.
Yeah, no, no. It's a 1-star film, and I think that's more than generous.
Yeah, I'm tempted. I don't know, 1 or 2 stars. I think I enjoyed it a little more than you. But then again, I was paying attention a little more than you.
Well, you lost me at after that. I give you an hour. Yeah. I give you an hour. If you don't grab me in the first hour, it's like a date.
Hey, dude, I don't ever grab you.
Like,
just take that back right now. Take it back.
It's like a date, Mike. You take her out, she don't grab you in the first hour, you drop her off from mom's house, right? Okay, so that's what I'm saying. It didn't do anything for me at the hour mark, and I'm like, you know what? Nothing could save this film.
All right. Well, I'll give it a 1-star film just to make you happy. But there are good points to it, but you do have to sit through a lot to get to.
If I got to work that hard in my leisure time to get to something that I actually like, it's not leisure time. And I just don't want to. I don't want to deal with it.
All right. I'm Michael Mandy. He's Rowdy. Jeff, we will talk to you next week at the Horror Debate.